On doomsday, my husband, T-Main, filed for divorce. He stood in that courtroom and called me a failed mother and a failed wife. As if that humiliation wasn't enough, he demanded full custody of my daughter and every piece of property we owned. But just when I thought the day couldn't get worse, I heard a small trembling voice that silenced the entire courtroom. It was my 7-year-old daughter, Zariah. "Your Honor," she said softly, stepping forward, "can I show you something my mommy doesn't know?" The judge nodded. Zariah held up her small tablet with both. Hands tapped the play button, and the second the video began, the room froze. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. What was revealed in that moment changed everything. Before we get into the story, please drop a comment telling us which state or city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps this channel grow and bring you even more gripping stories like this one. That morning had started like any other in their household. Nala, dressed in simple, worn clothes, had been working nonstop in the kitchen since dawn. The faint aroma of hot breakfast, mixed with the sharp scent of detergent from the washing machine humming in the laundry corner. She moved quickly yet quietly, almost like she had trained herself to be invisible. Years of walking on eggshells around her husband, T-Main had taught her to move like a shadow in her own home. At exactly 6 a.m., T-Main descended from the second floor, not a hair out of place. His shirt was freshly pressed, his expression unreadable. The moment he appeared, Nala rushed to set a mug of hot black coffee and a steaming plate of breakfast in front of him. He sat down, lifted the mug, and drank without even glancing in her direction, like she wasn't even there. "The coffee is a little bitter today," T-Main muttered dryly, eyes glued to his phone. "I'm sorry, honey. I thought I measured it right this time," Nala replied softly. He didn't answer. He simply nudged the plate further away and ate a few spoonfuls in silence. Nala stood by the table waiting, hoping for another instruction. But nothing came. The silence between them was so heavy, so icy, that even the steam rising from the coffee seemed to freeze mid-air. Nala couldn't remember the last time. They'd had a warm breakfast together, filled with laughter. Maybe 2, maybe 3 years ago, back when T-Main's late nights weren't as frequent and his business trips didn't. Swallow whole weeks at a time. "Is Zariah up?" he asked, still not looking at her. "Yes, honey, she's showering. She'll be down for breakfast soon." Right on cue, any footsteps tapped down the stairs. Zariah appeared radiant in her neat private school uniform. Her bright smile cut through the cold gloom of the morning like sunlight through fog. "Good morning, Mommy and Daddy," she chirped. She kissed Nala on the cheek before running to her father. For the first time that morning, T-Main put down his phone and managed a faint smile. "Good morning, Princess. Eat up, Daddy will take you to school today." "Really? Yay! I'm going with Daddy!" Zariah squealed with excitement. Nala breathed out a long, shaky sigh of relief. At least for Zariah's sake, T-Main tried to show some warmth. This little breakfast window was the only time the three of them felt remotely like a family. As soon as Zariah finished eating, T-Main stood up, grabbed his briefcase, kissed his daughter on the forehead, and walked toward the door. As always, he passed Nala without a goodbye, without a kiss, without a glance. It was as if she were nothing more than a shadow in her own home. Seconds later, the growl of his luxury car faded into the distance, leaving Nala alone in the vast, silent house. She threw herself back into her routine, clearing the table, washing dishes, switching laundry loads, tidying rooms. She did all of it with practiced efficiency. She always tried to keep the house perfect. She believed that if she cleaned enough, cooked well enough, stayed quiet enough, maybe the old T-Main would return. But the man she once knew seemed long gone. At noon, Nala drove to pick up Zariah from school, her favorite part of the day. She loved hearing her daughter's cheerful stories about her friends, her art class, her lunchbox adventures. "Mommy, today I got 5 gold stars from the teacher," Zariah announced proudly as she climbed into the car. "Answered the question right," Zariah chirped happily, holding her mother's hand. "Wow, my daughter is so smart," Nala said, genuinely congratulating her, pinching her little nose. When they arrived home, Nala helped Zariah take off her shoes when the sound of a motorcycle outside caught her attention. A uniformed courier called out, "Nala, a package for you." Frowning, Nala stepped to the door. She hadn't ordered anything. The courier handed over a large, thick brown envelope. No sender name, just the logo of a law firm in the corner. Her heart thudded painfully. "Who is it, Mommy?" Zariah asked, trailing behind. "I don't know, Princess. Probably just junk mail. Go change, and then we'll have lunch," Nala said, keeping her voice steady. After Zariah ran to her room, Nala sank onto the sofa. Her hands shook as she tore open the envelope. Inside was a thick stack of papers. The first line on the top page stole her breath. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Her world seemed to stop. Her ears rang. She reread the words, hoping her eyes were lying. Plaintiff, Tmain. Defendant, Nala, reason. The wife has totally failed in the fulfillment of her marital duties. Nala felt sick. She had dedicated her life to this home, abandoned her career at Tmain's request, cared for Zariah, kept Tmain's shirt spotless. Failed? How could he say that? She continued reading. The demands were ruthless. Full custody of Zariah, alleging she was emotionally unstable and unfit. The entire marital estate arguing she had contributed nothing financially. Nala collapsed onto the cold, hardwood floor, papers scattering around her. So that was it. This had been his plan all along. The front door opened. Tmain had returned early. He stood in the doorway looking at her crumpled. On the floor, the scattered papers, his face icy guiltless. Honey, what does this mean? Nala's voice quavered. Tears welled up. Tmain removed his shoes, slowly loosened his tie, and said coldly, It's exactly what you read. I don't want to live with you anymore, Nala. You have failed. Failed as a wife, failed as a mother. Failed, Nala moaned, disbelief shattering her. I've taken care of this house, raised Zariah, Tmain scoffed. The only thing you've done is spend my money. Zariah needs a competent mother, not someone who cries and complains. And all the property, this house. And Zariah, you can't have them. My lawyer has gathered all the evidence. You won't get a dime. You'll leave this house empty-handed, Nala screamed. Tmain crouched, his eyes sharp with hatred she had never seen before. And get ready. Even your own daughter will testify in court about how incompetent you are. Her heart shattered. Tmain didn't just want a divorce, he wanted to destroy her. That night he retired to the guest room, locking the door. Nala stayed in Zariah's room, sitting by her daughter's bed, watching her sleep peacefully, while tears streamed down her face. How could he say Zariah would testify against her? The thought tortured her more than any accusation. The next morning, Tmain acted as if nothing had happened. He woke Zariah, prepared her uniform, and drove her to school without a word to Nala. When Mommy has puffy eyes, why? Zariah asked. Mommy isn't feeling very well, Princess, he said, indifferent. Once they left, panic gripped Nala. She had to fight. She couldn't give up on Zariah. She grabbed her phone and searched for top divorce lawyers in the city. Reality hit hard. Lawyers required money, retainers, consultation fees. She had none. For years, Tmain had only given her a monthly allowance for groceries and Zariah's school. No savings. Her only hope was their joint account, what she believed was the family emergency fund. Hands trembling, she opened the banking app. Password entered. 00. She refreshed repeatedly, hoping it was a glitch. But the number stared back. Over the last 6 months, Tmain had siphoned funds to an unknown account, emptying everything just 3 days ago. He hadn't just left, he'd crippled her financially. Desperate, she checked her jewelry. Box, empty, only a few cheap trinkets remained. Tmain had even taken her heirlooms. In despair, she remembered an old friend at a legal aid agency. She called, explained the situation. Her friend gave a name, Attorney Abernathy. Small office, honest, dedicated, not expensive but trustworthy. With the little cash she had, Nala hailed a cab to the address. The office was exactly as described, small, modest, on the second floor of an old building. Attorney Abernathy, a middle-aged man with thick glasses and calm demeanor, listened patiently, taking notes. When she finished, he sighed. Nala, this is going to be an uphill battle. Your husband has planned this. Meticulously, he doesn't just want a divorce, he wants to destroy. I don't care about the property. I just want Zariah. Please help me. I'll pay you in installments, I'll do anything, Nala pleaded. Abernathy nodded. We'll deal with money later. Right now, we move fast. The lawsuit is filed. We must prepare a response immediately. He left, returning with a folder of photocopied documents to Main's case. His lawyer is Cromwell. Sharp, ruthless. Let's see their evidence. Nala's heart pounded as he opened the folder. The first pages, photos of her house, dirty dishes, cluttered living room, laundry piles. This is unfair, Nala cried. I was sick. He took these on purpose. Abernathy frowned. They'll use it to paint you as negligent. Next, credit card statements. Luxury purchases she never made. Not me, Nala protested. Abernathy asked calmly. Did he give you an additional card? Yes, he told me to use it, but he withdrew often, claiming the main card exceeded its limit. Oh my God, he set you up, she whispered, feeling the world spin. Every act of kindness had been part of his plan. Finally, Abernathy handed her a thick document near the end. This is the most damaging. The testimony of an expert witness, a child psychologist. Nala took it in her trembling hands, dread filling her chest. The report was clinical detached cold. According to Dr. Valencia, the psychologist, Nyala's interactions with Zariah had been covertly observed in public places, parks, malls, even during school pickups. The conclusion: Nala was emotionally unstable, neglected her daughter's needs, and was a detrimental influence on Zariah's psychological development. Full custody, it recommended, should go to T-Main for the child's mental health. This makes no sense. Nyala's voice trembled violently. When was this observation done? I never met any psychologist. Attorney Abernathy leaned forward, examining her carefully. According to the report, these observations were conducted in public settings, parks, malls, and school pickups. That's insane, Nala gasped. Zariah has always been happy with me. This is defamation. Who is this Dr. Valencia? Abernathy flipped the cover. Dr. Valencia. Here are her credentials. She is professional, convincing. Nala shook her head, tears streaming. I've never seen her in my life. I don't know her. Living under the same roof as T-Main had become a silent hell. He hadn't left, he had moved into the guest room. The once warm home now felt like a frozen battlefield, littered with emotional landmines. Every morning Nala had to face her enemy, act normal for Zariah, and pretend nothing was wrong. T-Main executed his role flawlessly in front of their daughter. He returned from work earlier than usual, bringing expensive gifts. One night he walked in with a large box adorned with a cartoon princess. Drama, T-Main sneered. And then Nala noticed it, a faint lingering scent. A woman's perfume. The perfume, a soft, unfamiliar scent, clung to T-Main's shirt. It wasn't Nala's perfume nor the cologne he usually wore. Honey T-Main followed the direction of Nala's gaze. He knew she had noticed. He didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled, patient and venomous. He waited for Zariah to run to her room to put away her new toys. Once the girl was gone, he approached Nala. His face was close, his voice, a low hiss dripping with contempt. Did you notice? He said. Did you really think I would live forever with a woman as boring as you? You are nothing compared to her. Nala took a step back, gasping. Another woman. All of this, his accusations, his cruelty, was about her. Who is she? Nala whispered. None of your business. T-Main replied smoothly. She is successful. Intelligent, she knows how to please a man. Unlike you. That night, Zariah came quietly into Nala's room. Mommy, why are you crying? She asked. Nala wiped her tears quickly. I'm okay, princess. My head just hurts a little. Zariah's eyes were sharp, almost too knowing. Are you really sick, Mommy? Daddy says that since you're sick, you're often sad and angry. He said that if I go live with him later, you'll be able to rest and get better. Nala's heart shattered. T-Main had poisoned her daughter's mind. He had twisted the truth, making it seem like leaving. Nala's side was an act of kindness. Nala hugged Zariah tightly. Listen to me, baby. I'm not sick. I love you more than anything. I promise I won't get angry anymore. But the damage was done. Nala saw the hesitation in her daughter's eyes. Maine, listening from the doorway, sneered in the shadows. He brushed past her, tapping her shoulder with false sympathy. Enjoy your time, he whispered mockingly. Soon she won't even want to call you Mommy. The mediation hearing was no better. In a small, stuffy room, the court-appointed mediator tried to find common ground. Attorney Abernathy spoke calmly. T-Main Nala doesn't ask for much. She only wants custody of Zariah, or at least shared custody. Regarding property, we can discuss it. Before he could finish, Attorney Cromwell, expensive, sharp, intimidating, interrupted. There is nothing to talk about. Cromwell snapped, slamming the file onto the table. Our client's position is clear, Attorney Cromwell began, voice cold and sharp. Nala is the failed party in this marriage. She has failed to maintain the home and raise the child properly. Our client demands full custody of Zariah for her own future. T-Main sat beside him, expression blank as if he were the victim. Only want the best for my daughter, he said, voice dripping with false sorrow. Taking her away from her mother is the best for her. Nala trembled. Attorney Cromwell let out a chilling chuckle. Nala, if you continue insisting, we will take this to trial. And I assure you, all the evidence we have will humiliate you. The photos, the credit card statements, the expert testimony. You'd better sign this agreement. Our client is being benevolent by allowing you to leave the house without a countersuit. Leave with nothing and without Zariah. Are you crazy? Nala screamed, her voice cracking with rage and fear. The mediator tried to intervene, but T-Main and his lawyer were unyielding. The mediation broke down completely. Attorney Abernathy patted Nala on the shoulder as they left. "Stay strong, Nala. The real fight begins now." The first day of trial approached, and Nala felt a knot in her stomach that had been there since morning. Every muscle in her body was tense, every thought consumed by the looming battle for her daughter. Attorney Abernathy whispered a final reminder to Nala. "Stay calm. At all costs." The courtroom was imposing high wooden walls, heavy chairs, and the judge's gavel commanding authority. Across the aisle, T-Main sat with his lawyer Cromwell exuding confidence. The trial began. Cromwell spoke first, his voice loud, precise, and self-assured. He painted his version of events with precision, showing photos of the cluttered house accusing Nala of being lazy and negligent. Credit card statements followed, presented as proof of wastefulness and financial irresponsibility. "Your Honor," Cromwell declared dramatically, "while my client, T-Main, worked tirelessly to earn money, his wife wasted it and neglected both her child and her home." Nala wanted to scream to defend herself. "It's all lies. He set me up. He used the card. He took those photos while I was sick." But the only thing she could do was clutch her hands under the table, trembling. Abernathy gave her a reassuring look, silently telling her to hold on. When it was their turn, Abernathy attempted to refute the claims. He explained that the photos were taken out of context, that the credit card statements had been mostly T-Main's own use, but his voice seemed to falter. Under the weight of the evidence, it was Nala's word against physical proof. The judge took notes, expression unreadable. And then, the moment Nala had feared most, the plaintiff calls his expert witness, Cromwell announced. "Dr. Valencia, child psychologist." The courtroom door opened. Nala held her breath. A woman entered, elegant, confident, professional. Her hair was neatly pulled back, her blazer immaculate. She walked with poise, her presence commanding attention. Nala froze, recognizing the scent. The same soft perfume that had clung to T-Main's shirt, the one that had haunted her nights. It was her. T-Main's mistress, masquerading as a child psychologist. Valencia took the witness stand. Her voice was calm, measured, her diction precise, filled with psychological terminology that sounded authoritative. "Yes, Your Honor," she began, responding to Cromwell. "Conducted observations of Mrs. Nala and her daughter, Zariah, over the past 3 months." "And what were your findings, Doctor?" Cromwell asked. "My findings are deeply concerning," Valencia said, opening her notes. "Mrs. Nala displays behavior that is inconsistent and emotionally volatile. Signs of significant emotional distress are present." She began detailing her observations, twisting facts into weapons. First, at a shopping mall, she claimed Nala had pulled Zariah forcefully, shouting at her in public, making the child cry in fear. Nala's eyes shut. She remembered that day vividly. Zariah had nearly fallen toward a moving escalator, and she had shouted in panic to protect her. Fear, not anger. Second, in a park, Valencia alleged Nala was absorbed in her phone, ignoring Zariah, and reacted hysterically when she fell. Nala remembered she had been texting a grocery list, and when Zariah tripped, she had rushed immediately to comfort her. Valencia concluded, staring at the judge. Mrs. Nala does not have the stable emotional capacity to raise a 7-year-old. Evidence of parentification syndrome is present, where she subconsciously projects her own emotional problems onto the child. For Zariah's well-being, I strongly recommend full custody be granted to her father, Mr. T-Main, who is the more stable parent. The room fell silent. Her testimony sounded devastating, scientific, incontrovertible. Nala whispered to Abernathy, tears streaking her face. "It's a lie. It's all a lie. She's T-Main's mistress. It's her." "Stay calm, Nala," Abernathy whispered back. "Don't react. That's exactly what they want." During cross-examination, Abernathy tried, "Dr. Valencia, are you confident in such a serious diagnosis, based solely on distant observation?" Valencia smiled slightly. "On the contrary, counselor, naturalistic observation, without the subject's awareness, yields the most accurate results. No manipulation, pure behavior. You were paid by Mr. T-Main for this testimony, correct?" "I was paid for my professional services, counselor. My conclusions are objective, based on field data," she replied smoothly. Abernathy was cornered. Valencia had anticipated every challenge, closing every gap. The trial adjourned for the day. Nala's legs shook as she left the courtroom, utterly defeated. T-Main smiled slightly, exchanging a satisfied glance with Valencia. In the lobby, Nala leaned against the wall, sobbing. "We lost, attorney, we lost. They have everything. Abernathy remained silent for a moment, gathering his thoughts before responding.